going on, everybody? My name is Chris LePack, aka RumblePack92, and you are watching a special episode of the Waypoint podcast. Today, we're doing a Spoilercast review, discussion, whatever you want to call it, on season 1 of Ted Lasso, one of our favorite shows, I think, to ever just be made. I was going to say on Apple TV, but I've seen only one other show on Apple TV, so it's not much of a fight. Watch Mythic Quest, by the way. That's the other show I watched. Today, joining me, of course, directly. I don't know where I'm at in the format. I'm not recording this, so
it's the same format.
Excellent. So directly above me is Chance Carter.
How's it going, everybody? It's a splendid day.
It's a splendid day indeed, sir. Out here in the corner, we've got Alec Bobko.
Ayo.
He's a little litty today, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binaries. And then right next to me, the one and only Bret Jamerson.
Hey, everybody.
Bret, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Every time that I introduce you and I use your full name, I still think of your Twitter handle. And so I always want to call you Jet Bremerson every single time. Every single time it fucks me up. And I sometimes you can hear me like pause for a second to make sure that I say Bret and not Jet. So like I said at the top of the show, we're going to be I think discussing is probably the best term. It's not a review. We could call it a spoiler cast, I guess, if you want to. That's always given the connotation of Marvel or Star Wars or whatever. But whatever it is, I wanted to start out just by first up, if you haven't watched the show, we're about to talk about the entire thing. So go watch the show. If you haven't tell you how great it is.
You have 6 free months of Apple TV Plus. So
if you recently got a new phone, you get an entire year of Apple TV.
Mm-hmm. That's how your boy got it.
That's how I got it too.
I got it through a roommate, so shout out to
you.
That'll do it. Better.
That'll do it. Yeah, if your mom has it, text her up real fast. Be like, Mom, please. I gotta watch the show. The internet guys told me to, and then she'll be like, "That's really weird, but okay." And then you go and put that on, and then she's like, "What's the show about?" And you're like, "I don't know, but I'm gonna watch it."
It's about being positive, Mom.
Quick thing about that. When I was going into it, I was only told that it was starring Jason Sudeikis, and he was a college football coach that got hired to be a Premier League soccer coach. That's all I was told about it, and that it's a comedy show.
It's the basic concept, and it's hard not to get into it without, describe the show without really getting into all of the the motivations of some of the different characters and stuff and all those sorts of things. And it's like, but I want you to experience that in the show. So it's like
exactly, yeah, that's all I was told.
Comedy where an American football coach gets hired to coach a premier soccer team, and it's hilarious.
And I tell
people, it's funny, but it's also so positive.
Yeah. I went in with even less than that. I just knew Jason Sudeikis showed up to the award show high to accept his award, and I was like, I gotta watch this shit.
I didn't know
that.
Really?
You know what's funny? Is he wasn't.
Is he? Dude. His eyes were red.
He looked high as shit, but he came out later and said he was like, nah, I hadn't smoked anything yet that night.
Yeah, I love
it. Oh man,
we both said yet.
Yeah, he said yeah. I was like, oh, okay, I see you, Jason Sudeikis. Like, all right.
I smell what you're smoking.
Do you smell what the Rock is smoking? So I want to start out the cast, just kind of going around the room. I want your general thoughts and impressions on season 1 as a whole. And like I told the boys before we got started, we are not talking about season 2 yet. 1, because it's not out, and 2, I haven't seen episode 1, and I don't want any spoilers. So go ahead and take it away, Bret. What you think of the show, man?
Man, this show was just an unreal experience. I still don't know how to describe it because it had been out already for almost a year. I think I binged it a few months ago, and I don't know what happened. It was just one night where I decided to watch it, and I ended up binging it in technically 24 hours, but 2 separate days. And yeah, it was just a journey, man. And this show is so unique in its positivity and joy that you just can't help but get attached to all the characters and the stakes between them. So yeah, it's a fantastic show. I'm so excited for season 2. It's gonna be interesting with season 2 just because now the expectations are set, and how are they gonna either meet them or exceed them? So yeah, it's Fantastic
They're
show.
hyping the heck out of season 2 as
I was
well.
gonna say, I see
You
it
know,
advertised
marketing.
everywhere. I don't know
Yeah.
if I'm just caught in the algorithm or if they've just like thrown a huge amount of their budget at Ted Lasso. I assume like Ted. If my understanding is that Ted Lasso is like the show on Apple TV right now.
Yeah.
It's like when Stranger Things hit Netflix. You know what I mean? Like this
Mhm.
is the thing Apple TV's pushing.
Yeah.
The amount of people I know who have gotten Apple TV just because of Ted Lasso before the PlayStation deal is like I had never heard of anybody having Apple TV before Ted Lasso was like
Right.
popping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even I'll save most of my general thoughts after you guys go. But I mean, when I first experienced it, like I'd heard like tons and tons of stuff about it on Twitter and stuff, and I think I watched it 6-8 months after it already come out. I was on a plane coming home, and they had like the in-flight entertainment, you know, and they had the first 2 episodes of Ted Lasso on there, and then I was just sort of like I remember seeing this, like hearing about this. I heard lots of good things. I'd kind of put it in the back of my brain. I was like, I'll watch this eventually. It's got Jason Sudeikis. He's from Kansas City. Shout out, go Chiefs. And I started up that first episode. I got 5 minutes into it. Like I got I had to pause it because I got to the point like right after they landed, like went to go look at the sites
nice.
and stuff, and then they're on the way to the second land. I just sat there. I was like, I love this. I was like, I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't this, and so it was. I was immediately in, and so I watched those 2 there, and then we got home. I mean, we'd been traveling for like 8-10 hours. Brittany's like, I'm gonna go to bed. I was like, I'm gonna finish this show. And I watched the remaining 6 episodes. So like,
Wow.
I was like, I have to watch it all. So that's how I saw it. Alec, dude, what'd you think of the show overall, man?
I really enjoyed it. I actually binged it the first time over 4th of July weekend. I should say the Saturday of 4th of July weekend. Because there's only 10 episodes and they're all about half hour to 45 minutes long.
Mhm.
So really easy to binge it in a day. If you're not doing anything else. I loved how like Brett said, how positive it is. You know, the moments of comedy in this, they just get you.
And sometimes they're so fast too. Like it'll be
Exactly.
just like a quick joke, like something like Ted will just throw out real fast, or even just like a little thing from Beard or Nate, and it's just
Coach Beard.
It's like they could pass you, man.
Yeah, but
that whole bit we just watched it last night, where they're talking about like trying to bench Roy, and Beard's like, that's gonna come back to bite us in eventually. It's already, you know, we've already got some deep teeth marks in our butts. He's like, kind of usually have to pay for it. And then later in this scene, Nate looks at him and he's like, do you pay somebody to bite you in the butt? He's like, no, of course not. Been paid, and then walks off.
Yep. But the thing that, you know, that really resonated with me is this show's not afraid to get real too. Like, I'm just gonna say the end of episode 5.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
man.
not afraid to get real. And then even the part when he leaves the karaoke bar, like
Ooh.
that panic attack. Like,
I think that's part of what makes the character of Ted Lasso so strong, and just adds to the strength of the show as a whole. It's like, I think like the main takeaway that so many people have is that it's this really positive thing, and it is. But like and it's mostly because of the character Ted Lasso, who is just just happiness personified, you know, optimism in human form. But he's still a human being, and is still going through things, and feels other emotions, and they weren't afraid. The show is like, look, he's not like this all the time. Like, I mean, you know, he's going through a divorce in the show, and dealing with everything that's it, because he clearly doesn't want to be divorced. And just isn't afraid to really dig down deep in the middle of that, and it hurts sometimes, man. Like that episode 5 just rips your heart out, dude.
Mhm.
So such a bittersweet ending, man.
oh yeah.
But like just the adult nature of like the way he approaches it and like the total understanding. I feel like everybody watches Ted Lasso and is like, I need to be more like that guy. Like that is at least my takeaway is like the when he's talking about judgment versus curiosity.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yo, dude, I need every
favorite scene in the whole show.
Yes. Like every time I see that, I'm like, I need to remember this because I am so bad and I need to be better. Like I need to be Ted.
Yeah,
So-
I love that scene so much. I don't think I've ever been more inspired by something I watched on a TV show than the
Seriously,
segment
like,
on Be Curious, Not Judgmental.
Mhm.
So just a quick thing on it, like, because like I said, I binged it once, but I actually binged it twice within a couple weeks, like all the way through each in one day. And the second time watching this, I think because that's what episode 8 or 9, I think that
Mhm.
scene is in.
Something like that. I think it might be 7. It's around. It's the second half.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But man, that scene the second time around just hit so like it hit hard. Like
Mhm.
I literally just goosebumps that entire scene.
Mm-hmm. Well, Chance, what about you, man? Overall thoughts?
I really shouldn't like this show. Like, if I'm being honest, it really shouldn't work for me. But I remember being on like episode 3, my wife's on her iPad, paying attention and laughing. But like, I look at her at the end of episode 3, and I'm like, I like this way more than I should. Like, I may love this show.
Mm,
And she looked at me, and she's like, you hate just unfeathered optimism. And I was like, yeah. And like, I totally am a British person. Like, hope is the thing that kills you. But like, this is like, I don't know if it's just the place I'm in or like what are like we needed to hear during 2020, but just like the unfeathered amount of optimism, and then like the characters that you like shouldn't work and you shouldn't like, but like name one character that you don't like more by the end of the show. Like you can't.
Yeah.
Like even
mhm.
like after everything, the owner of the team, her name escapes me.
Mhm.
After everything she does, and he just forgives her. Like he doesn't even have like I would still be processing what she said to me, and he just immediately forgives her.
I watched this scene last night, and I was sitting there, and I thought about myself in that situation, and I was like, and I would be fuming. Like
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be unbelievably angry. I would quit. I would never come back. Like that would be the end of it for me. But I mean, it's and that's just such a strong point of that character to where like he sits there, he listens to what she's saying, like immediately process it and goes, look, I understand.
Yeah.
Especially I love the way that he responded. He's like divorce is hard. Like I get
Mhm.
it. It makes people do crazy, and just that immediate like understanding of what, because I don't think there's a character on television that listens like Ted Lasso does.
Mhm.
Mhm.
There's not a character in this world who actually pays
There's
attention like Ted
not a
Lasso.
single human being who
What was
listens
it?
like Ted
Breakfast with the
Lasso.
Boss.
Yo, I just got to talk about this for a second. When they drop that he's been baking these motherfuckers the whole
Yes.
time,
Right?
Dude.
I'm like, oh my god, why is he this perfect of a human being? Like, to take the time to just nail another country's cookie. Like, oh my god, dude. Oh my
Beautiful.
god, why is this so good?
Beautiful.
I love how she sent out Higgins to just find
Yeah.
out where you get these.
Like you have to tell me where to find these, and yeah, it's just like it's such a subtle reveal too. Like they never make a big
yeah.
deal out of it. Like
Yeah.
it just cuts to him baking them one day, and then you just kind of go like, "Oh shit, wait a minute!" Like, yeah.
Well, and then he just drops one day. He's like, "Damn it!" And I finally cracked the recipe. Like he's mad at the owner,
Yes.
and he's
Yeah.
like, "I don't want to give these to you, but yeah, I do because I cracked the recipe." And she just kind of like looks at him like,
She's like, "Wait a
you?
minute."
What?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
I believe that was when she released Jamie Tart to
Yep.
Man City.
Mhm.
Which,
Which, like-
I mean, again, speaking of like you mentioned earlier, like characters that you just there's
to
nobody
love.
that you don't love at the end of it. I like Jamie at the end of
Yeah.
it. Like
Yeah.
like that last episode
The extra
especially is such a
pass.
redeeming one for him.
Just being young and arrogant, and like every guy knows like what that's like, and then just to like have him get a little bit of maturity under his belt, and he immediately changes, or just it took that one person to like believe in him.
Mm.
Real quick, has anybody else noticed that the Jamie Tart song is
Baby Shark.
Shark?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
I
was
noticed
like,
that right away.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I was singing it all day.
Yeah.
I had Jamie Tart stuck in my head today, and I was gonna tweet that like Jamie Tart, but in the tune of Baby Shark, and I was like, but that is the tune.
That is
wait
the
a
joke,
minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there's
And
the Roy Kent song. I like that. one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which Roy Kent may be my favorite character, just for whatever. I have no good reason why, but just like the dude who has to like come to the realization that he's ran his race. Like he's talking about like, I've always been the best player on the team. I don't know what to do besides being a footballer. And then Keely talks
Just
to him,
be
and she
Roy.
yeah, and just like, what do you
that
think of your
excellent
uncle?
scene, yeah. With
And
his
not a
niece.
thing about soccer, football.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was really, really excellent, and I think that I think that's part of the reason why I like Roy as much as I do too, because he's sort of that. It's like a different take on that. Not stereotype. That's not the
Just the
right
veteran.
term that I'm looking for. But I mean, he's the veteran, but he's also like the gruff, like grumpy guy with an inner soft side. To where he's like a less violent version of Joel from The Last of Us. You know what I
I
mean?
can see that. I can see where you're coming from with that.
Does yoga.
Not caving in heads, but
Yeah.
caving in balls.
The bit where Keely tries to get him to go out with her, and he's like, I can't, I'm busy. And then it turns out that he was doing yoga with a bunch of old women and
Yeah.
stuff, and one of them was having a problem, so he stuck around to get drinks with her. It was so fucking funny.
Oh my god, that's probably one of my favorite little tidbits about. And I say that we're gonna talk for another 10 minutes, and I'll be like, no, that's my favorite because they have so many.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about Marvel building out these worlds over so many movies. Well, like Ted Lasso is just giving these characters little things, and like when Nate gets his contract, and that's the thing. Like
Yes.
them remembering his name, he's like, wait, what? You know my name? And just like having that character progression of like nobody giving a shit, and now they all care. Like it just,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Like, yeah. I know, Chris, you're probably gonna tell us about your thoughts in a minute, but just the suggestion box, and then Roy can't like getting the water pressure. Like, that's when you know, like that was that moment. Like, this is a special show.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Especially because he looks like he's about to do something like with the box, like fuck around with it, and then like put something in it and walks away, and then the water pressure comes back on later and knocks over that one dude.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
hey,
He's just like,
Capper,
water
fix the
pressure.
water pressure. Fantastic.
So what are your thoughts on it, Chris?
So my personal thoughts. I told you how I found the show, and this hits a lot of buttons for me in ways that I just kind of wasn't expecting. I knew it was going to be like a fun show with Jason Sudeikis. I knew it was going to be funny. It's a very different type of humor than he usually does, and I really, really like how, I mean, for lack of a better term, a lot of it just feels really subtle here. It's like there are definitely like big in your face jokes like that, but they never like beat you over the head with it or anything. And a lot of it's just kind of like chuckle humor. I didn't have too many like straight like laugh out loud moments, but all of it is still very, very funny, and I really like that a lot. I don't know how much more that we could say just about like the pure like unfettered optimism about the show, but it is just a show that when you finish watching it just makes you feel good and wants you to at the very least it inspires me to try and be better and more empathetic and self-conscious and all these other things, which I don't get from a lot of TV shows, you know. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I always love shouting out that both Jason Sudeikis and the character Ted Lasso are from Kansas City, Missouri, which is my hometown. Go Chiefs! And throughout the show, you can see both Ted and Coach Beard wearing hats and shirts of actual legitimate like barbecue places in Kansas City. There's a point where he holds up, I believe, a bottle of Gates barbecue sauce, which is a restaurant that I've been to, and occasionally still like order their barbecue sauce and stuff to have it because it's that good. Because Kansas City barbecue is the absolute best. There's no contest. I will not hear another word against it. I know Brett's shaking his head because he's from Texas. And I just love like how much they played into that, and we kind of discussed it earlier as well. It's not a show that's afraid. It's like, even though it is very positive, uplifting, it's still not afraid to show like these lower moments in Ted's life as well, and that he's still a human being, he's still dealing with these things. But I think it's what makes it such a positive thing, even though it's like bittersweet or difficult for him. It's the way that he deals with these things and reacts to all of it. I mean, at the end of that 5th episode, I mean, it rips your heart out, but the way that he's come to an understanding and looks at his ex-wife and says, he's like, look, I get it. Like, you don't have to suffer through this anymore. He's like, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
And just that whole thing is just gut wrenching, but so well written. And
Just her response real quick Like I rewatched it
Mhm.
recently too, and just like you're not giving up, you're not quitting, you're letting me go. Like I almost
Mhm.
started to cry like right then.
Like, damn,
Oh.
dude. Yeah.
Like
Uh,
Chris, just you describing it there, still it just
still
hit me.
hurts, doesn't it?
It still hurts. Like
Still hurts a little bit. I also just love like the way that he interacts with the community, just like around him, just from the get go.
they're in the bar
Like
every
he's
episode.
in the bar every episode. I love the way that he still responds to even all these people that want to hate him, specifically because I mean he's an American coach coaching English soccer or English football. Um, and he's still very positive, very kind to everyone. He's playing football outside with the people in the park. He recommends like this musician that he passes by on his commute to work every day to
Love
come
the
and play
payoff for
this big
that.
charity event. It's so great. Also, legitimately really good music, and I want to know if he has more.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Like I was sitting there, I was like, yo, this is sick. Yeah, I love all of it. Like, there's not a single thing about the show that I could say I even like dislike a little bit. Like it fires on all cylinders at all times, and it's excellent.
Mhm.
Real quick before we go on, I have
Yeah.
told everybody that has finished Ted Lasso your little information about him being from Kansas City. And I'm like, my buddy Chris is from Kansas City. And let me tell you what, he told me that all of the shirts he's wearing. And my sister-in-law has never been so blown away in her life. Like she's going to school to make like Marvel movies. And she's like,
Yeah.
what? That's real?
Like for real, yeah.
Yeah, they do that.
Yeah, they do that, and that's just something I love about Jason today because he's always been like an actor that I really liked because he's so big on Kansas City. He actually every year he and Paul Rudd will be at least like one like Chiefs and one Royals game, and they're usually like there and doing like a big like charity thing while they're there as well, and so that's always really really cool. I like that a lot.
Is Paul Rudd from there as well?
Yeah, Paul Rudd is also from Kansas
Y'all
City.
got the fucking hitters
I'm
coming
telling
out.
you, dude. I'm telling you, dude.
Stacked. You're stacked.
So yeah, Ant-Man from Kansas City, Missouri. Just throwing that out there. And not technically the character, but or the actor, but when they film Superman Returns, he does wear a Kansas City Royals shirt in that movie because he lands in Kansas. So just
Nice.
throwing that out there too. Superman's a Royals fan.
Quick tangent. Did you know that Henry Cavill is a Chiefs fan specifically because that's who Superman would be a fan of? Like
Is he really?
he is a diehard Chiefs fan. Like he's like, that is my football team because when I came to America to play Superman, anyway, thought you might like that.
Bless you, Henry Cavill.
Yeah, our Lord and
Just
Savior.
when I thought I couldn't like him more, because he's great in The Witcher, he's great as Superman, he's a big old PC nerd. I watched his whole video when he built his
that
rig. I mean,
Amazing
God,
in Mission Impossible Fallout.
he's fantastic in Mission Impossible, and he's so fucking jacked. Oh my God, he's huge. Anyway, now he's a Chiefs fan, and I can't deal with this right now. I'm gonna be 100% with you.
Better not cross Daddy, or I'm gonna be his little bitch.
This too much for my dumb monkey brain. So, the next thing I wanted to move on to is again just kind of go around the room real quick, and I actually want to know. I'm glad that you would kind of tease that a little bit earlier. I want to know if you guys have a favorite character and why. It's tough, isn't it?
Besides Ted Lasso.
You're allowed to say Ted Lasso, but we can make it more interesting to say besides Ted.
My first thought is Coach Beard. Like his singers are just so good.
That's a good pick.
Also, in the episode I watched last night was the one where he like goes off on Ted in the bar about benching Roy, and then he looks over at his ex-girlfriend and he's like, she's been playing you, checkmate. And then picks her up and they walk off.
But then the Diamond Dogs part, like him there.
Yeah. I think mine would have to be. I'm the worst at names. We were just talking about him. Roy Kent or Nate. Like those two, for whatever reason, like I totally, I'm vibing with. Like Nate is, that character, and the way he's like, I felt sick for walking away from you the other day.
Yes. He's like, I had nightmares that I pecked it at like a crow.
The fact that Ted's just like, can you apologize to me in a dream? Or
He's
say that
like,
to
"Make
me in
sure
your
you-"
dream. Yeah.
It's so good.
I want to
Man,
hear Brett's. Brett's gonna have a good one.
oh man, I gotta go with Roy Kent, honestly. If we're not
Yeah.
going Ted Lasso, um,
It's
yeah,
a
he
close
just
second
like
too. Yeah.
he's so freaking funny, man. Like he's got the angle that he like because I know Alec and Chris are huge sports fans. I don't know if Chance are you a huge sports fan, but like
Played lacrosse, so no.
okay, but like the show is so great at being accessible to non-sports fans because I know so many people that like don't give a hoot about any form of ball, and they're like, "Oh, I love the show," because it's not about the sport itself.
Yeah.
And Roy Kent's a perfect example of that, where he isn't like his huge dynamic is about the sport, but then he also grows beyond the sport with his story plot. And then obviously the actor is a huge writer for the show as well. So
Oh, I didn't know
I know
that.
that's
I
I
actually
know
didn't
that
know that. Yeah.
I know that's not a part of his. I know that's not a part of Roy Kent's character, but like I just look at this guy just being able to do both sides of it. I was like, that's so cool. So yeah, huge fan of Roy Kent, and interested to see where he goes in season 2. I won't say anything, but like
I'm interested as well.
Agreed.
fascinating.
Agreed.
Because oh
And
man,
I love that you pointed that out too, because and it's like specifically because of this show, and it's been like this cool crossover of one. I started over the last like year and a half. I got more involved in the like the kind of funny best friends community for those, if you know, you know, which have lots and lots of international fans. And then I watched the show, and I had that like this cool collision of just like seeing that all the time on my Twitter feed, and then watching Ted Lasso and stuff. It's like I've started paying more attention to the world's game at this point. Like I pay more attention to, because I'm in the U.S. European football, but I mean, I've started paying more attention
Call it what it
to
is.
soccer and all those other
Soccer.
teams. I
bro,
started paying attention to soccer, and I'm really enjoying that too. I picked up
That
the
was a
app for like
joke.
my local team in the MLS, and like all these things. Like shout out to the Columbus Crew. Um, and yeah, I think that's had a really cool. And as far as like favorite characters go, I got to go Roy Kent as well, actually.
Nice.
For a lot of the reasons that you guys both stated, but also it's just, again, as a sports fan, it is a cool like dramatization of that, a kind of a classic sports story to where it's like, hey, this is somebody that's starting to age out,
Mhm.
who was a star and doing all those sorts of things. But I like the way that you put that though, Brett, too, to where it's like this show has sports in it, but it's not a sports show. You don't need to understand soccer or football to have seen the show, because they do a great job of explaining it all. But it's still a really character driven show. Like
Mhm.
more than anything else, it's about the characters, and so I really about it too.
The trick
Just to
plays.
prove Brett's point a little bit more, like I've watched the World Cup before, but it was because like people I was with liked it or whatever. Like friends of mine wanted to watch it, but like legitimately, like anytime Rahul Kohli is like tweeting about football, like I'm actually paying attention now because like this show has made me give a shit about a sport that is not very popular considering all the other sports in our country, but like there's something to this. Like it is so good.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And just like understanding the rules, I think they did a really good job of like Ted doesn't know them, so we're gonna explain them to you, and
Yeah,
like that has like to me made it so much easier. Of like,
Yeah.
what is the pitch? Oh, the pitch is the field. Okay, okay,
pitches
I
the
got
field.
you. Yep.
Yep.
Training is practice. Practice is training.
Yeah.
I love that running joke too, to where Ted still calls it practice even after
Practice.
learning that it's called training or whatever. Yeah, we're talking
Yeah.
about practice.
I love that
Practice.
part.
Yeah,
But he's
not a game.
guilting. Yeah.
Practice. like
It's just a way to make somebody feel so guilty without actually like addressing it. Like I don't like that really. I didn't know where he was gonna go with it, and then by
he
the
never
end of
came
it,
out and said specifically what he was upset about. He's just like, oh yeah, you don't want to come out and practice with us. Like that's all we're doing. Like yeah, it was so good,
Mhm.
so excellent. And
One.
I've always loved his whole directive of being. He's like I don't care about if we win or lose. It's like I'm here to make a difference in these guys' lives and
Yep.
make their lives better. And I really like that too.
Now I know we're a little ways in, but I'm surprised we haven't talked about Danny Rojas.
Oh my
I
god.
was gonna bring up Danny Rojas. I forgot. I
I
was thinking about
forgot
Roy
about him,
Kent.
dude.
I
Like,
was
I'm
thinking
gonna be
about Roy
real.
Kent the whole time. I got so fixated on him. Can I change my answer?
Yeah.
Well, so and like I'm actually interested to see. I really hope they expand his character in
Mhm.
season
Yeah.
2 because like he's great, but he's very one note at least in season
Mhm.
1.
That is very much his persona. He doesn't have a lot of screen time.
And yeah, I don't want to
I
like.
did like his introduction as like sort of the foil to what Jamie was going through, to where Jamie's like, I'm the shit. I can do whatever I want, and Ted's trying to humble him, and eventually that's exactly it. Like Ted's trying to go into things like, hey, we're still a team without you. You need to be part of this team, and his whole thing was like, whatever, you guys aren't shit without me. And Danny Rojas shows up, and he's like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
I love that whole scene.
Jamie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Love that scene.
Well, doesn't he bench him before Danny shows up, or is it after?
It's after.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Yep.
It's
And
after.
Sam
And-
has a big part there.
Mhm.
It was a goldfish.
Beagle.
I forget his first name, but the Adesonia character, I feel like even got more development than Danny Rojas, and I'm not sure if that's because they just needed Danny Rojas to be on the same page as Ted to make it work, and then they're like gonna delve into him more, I hope. But like the Adesonia whole thing where like the former owner wants him back on defense where he belongs and all this other shit, and like Ted is the one that like is seeing what he's capable of, like that is actually like one character that is kind of in the background that I'm super excited to see where they take him. Like if he's gonna become like the shit because he actually was given the time to like curate his talents.
All right, so like I said, we're running up on time a little bit. I wanted to finish it out, but I've actually pulled up some trivia about the show that I found really, really interesting, and I thought you guys might enjoy hearing this as well, and just a fun way to get it out. So, starting off, there's a scene when Ted rushes out of Rebecca's office, which is the name of the owner, whose name I couldn't remember. So he rushes out of Rebecca's office, and he jumps before, like as he goes out, and he hits his head on the door frame. He actually did that. That was not in the script. That was on accident. He was not supposed to do that.
I saw that. I think I watched that
actually-
episode last night.
Yeah, Jason Sudeikis actually hit his head, and they kept that take in.
Wow.
He
Like
looks
Star Wars.
very
back.
frazzled when he stands up. Like he was not trying to do that.
And good on him for staying in character. It's that, and now that's gonna be that scene. And when you watch it with other people, it's like the Aragorn thing in Two Towers when he breaks his toe. You can just be like, "Hey, did you know that wasn't scripted?" Yeah, that wasn't in the script. He actually hurt his head in that scene,
He had a concussion.
No concussion, but definitely
Full send into a
hurt his head.
doorway. Yeah.
Another fun little thing is that, of course, the theme song is done by Mumford and Sons, written by Marcus Mumford. But that, and I was sat there, I was like, wow, is it because it's an Apple show that they got like Mumford and Sons? Well, actually, what happens is Jason Sudeikis was in one of their music videos, and then he went through that
awesome.
pipeline and hit them up again. He was in the Hopeless Wanderer music video. If you guys have seen that one, so
Dang, no, I haven't. I'll have to
I
go
thought that
look
was
at it.
I thought that was fun.
Yeah, that was really cool.
In the first episode, the clip of Ted dancing with his previous football team in the locker room.
Oh yeah, yep.
It's actually apparently an old dance move that his character used to do on the "What's Up with That" sketches on SNL, and so that's like a Jason Sudeikis classic.
Damn. Okay, because it looked a little familiar, but I couldn't place where it was at, and it's just like it has such a good movement to it. It definitely looks like you practice.
What up with that? Yeah.
Wichita State, also the football team.
Hey, shout out. This one I found very interesting, which is that the character of Roy Kent is based on Irish footballer Roy Keane. Keane played in the Premier League from 1992 to 2006 for both Nottingham Forest and, most famously, Manchester United. Like Roy Kent, Keane was also a team captain and was famous for his temper and aggression, both on and off the field. In the show, Coach Beard describes Kent as a box-to-box midfielder, which is a description that was often used to describe Roy Keane's style of play. So based on a real character or on a real person, and that I did not know. That's fascinating.
It makes sense though because he definitely seems like a real player, like more so than the rest. Anyway,
Yeah,
It's like him and Jamie. I feel like very like real like footballers like that.
Yeah.
maybe he's talking out of turn. I don't know, but like I get a lot of like wannabe Ronaldo from Jamie.
From Jamie, yeah.
Yeah, just
I
It's
get
the
that
hair.
vibe, too.
The hair.
He's got
me.
me, me.
What's he yelling? Me.
When he goes to that charity ball and he like doesn't wear a shirt.
I love that she's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "This is fashion."
Why would this? Spend
Usually, I'm just
20
really,
It was
I'm
like,
really
why spend-
drunk when that happens.
Yeah. Then she was it. It was like, why spend £25,000 when you can, for your boyfriend?
Yeah, you can just have them for free.
Yeah. Yep.
So this is interesting. Richmond Green, which is the space where they filmed most of the show, it's also the park that's just outside Ted Lasso's apartment, is actually owned by the royal family. So the Queen was indirectly paid for the series to be filmed.
Oh my
That's
god,
awesome. That is
she needs
awesome.
more money.
Let's see here. I've got.
I hope they had to give Meghan Markle some royalties for using her name.
Do you think
shout
Ted
out
Lasso?
also.
I'm
sorry. Go ahead.
Do you think Ted Lasso will meet the Queen sometime?
I
I
really
mean,
hope
if they're
so.
paying her, I hope.
It'll be season 3 because this season they'll get back to the Premier League, and then the next season they'll probably
I can
win.
see that. I can see that. Yeah.
Because there's only going to be 3 seasons, I think. So.
Yeah.
Oh, have they said that?
I think it was something about like
Because
just
that's like perfect.
the availability of Sudeikis and
Mhm.
not wanting to like
That makes
make
sense,
it like a 9-season thing. Or
Yeah,
something.
Sudeikis strikes me as the kind of person who's like, I'm going to make the thing I want to make and then move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Like, and so, yeah, I always assumed this was probably going to be 2-3 seasons at best. Like,
The perfect
which is fine.
weekend series.
Exactly.
I was actually thinking about like, so how are they going to structure this out? Are they going to like wait till season 5 to like wrap things up? But 3 is so much better. I like 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Something I really liked. I seen in the locker room. The Latin motto of AFC Richmond is "Gregarious Firmus Victoria," which translates to "Slow and steady wins the race."
Nice.
Just some very cool visual storytelling. I love that. Where did I move it? Okay, so Zach Braff directed episode 2 of the series.
Yes, I noticed that.
He just happened to be in Britain as the show had begun filming and was invited to direct.
Because he got nominated for an Emmy.
Mhm.
Did he get nominated for an Emmy for his episode?
I'm pretty sure.
That's
saw
hilarious.
About it.
Zach Braff and Jason Sudeikis feel like they would be good drinking buddies.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Or I
Yeah,
wanna
yeah.
go drinking with the 2 of them.
Shout out
So-
to Scrubs.
So the Cricketers pub that Ted frequents on Richmond Green is called so because of Richmond Green's strong history with cricket. To the point where apparently that's an actual pub that they filmed in.
Okay.
So I'm putting that on my bucket list.
Places to go drink.
Just to go drink in the AFC Richmond pub. And then the last little fun tidbit I wanted to point out is that Ted Lasso's practice speech. We're talking about practice. To Jamie Tart is almost identical to a response Allen Iverson gave during a press conference,
Mm-hmm.
which
I love that.
I love. I did pick up on that, and I love that, and it's just such a great thing. Also because I love Iverson, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Most I know
absolutely,
about
absolutely
Iverson
excellent.
is Post Malone.
A White Iverson by
Yeah.
Post Malone, yeah, baby. Assassin, are you? Claim.
One scene, sorry, one scene I just remembered was the episode where they're curing the field, like the hauntedness, and they're all throwing the items in the trash bin.
Yeah, that was really good.
I really
love
like
that
that one.
Just a way to like bring the team together and like
Yeah.
mend the bridges and stuff, and then having
Mhm.
Danny Rojas come out and like they've known since
Oh,
before
yeah.
he started this bullshit.
Yeah.
He was fine.
He knew.
And
He
they're all
already knew.
drinking
He still
together
wanted
at
to
the
do the
end.
thing.
It's like you
And
gotta
then
drink
Beck-
the bottle before. They're not gonna want this to go to waste.
Yeah. Bex gets all pissed and walks inside and throws her coat off, and I love that whole scene.
I also have to shout out. I think or at least one of my favorite lines in the whole show, which is where I don't remember specifically the thing that he's saying. It was like, yeah, this thing is just like Kanye West's 808s and Heartbreak. Doesn't get enough credit. and you see the whole team like
Interesting.
Yeah. And then like starts to like, yeah, he's kind of right. It's just it's so perfect. I died laughing at that last time I heard it last night. I was fucking like, oh yeah, that's fantastic and true.
My favorite Kanye album is 808 and Heartbreak. So when he
There
said
you
that, I was
go.
like, preach it. Come on, Ted. Come on. Thank God.
I've always been a graduation kind of guy, but 808's damn good album, dude. Damn good album.
I can't remember when it came out. It just came out like at the time I needed it.
Like
That's what it
08,
was.
09.
That sounds about
Yeah.
right. Let me see.
Sophomore year? Come on, dude. That's exactly when I needed it.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I'm gonna look. So yeah, 08. User.
One thing that I don't know if you guys have been tracking, and because it's kind of hard, and we talked earlier about how like the strength of the show is that it's not so obsessed with like the sports aspect. But man, I'm like trying to track his record. I'm like, how, like what's this guy's record? Because like, and this isn't a spoiler of season 2 because they showed it in trailers, and I won't bring it up anyways. But we'll just talk about season 1 of how like he's like in his 8th game or something before he gets a win. So it's like, is this guy like 1 in 7 or something? Like one
Right.
1 5 and 2?
It's really not a great record. Like over the course of this season, I think out of like however many games that they play, which is a lot, I think they win like 3. Like it's not a lot of wins.
Relegation may have been deserved.
Yeah,
because I especially from the American sports perspective of like sometimes coaches get fired after one season. I'm like when's like I wonder if they'll ever bring that up of like him actually getting fired, because
Well, he
obviously
I think brought it up.
Yeah,
He got relegation.
well,
Yeah.
that was initially the point, wasn't it? Like she'd brought him on to ruin the team, and then he'd get fired, and like that was it. But then towards the end, I think they'd come to an understanding, and
Oh yeah.
so I
Still
don't
hate
know whether
Steve.
he'd get fired per se, but I mean the threat of it would be really interesting, actually.
Yeah.
The like league comes in and is like, look, dude,
Yeah.
she's not saying anything. We got to. You cannot lose anymore.
That would be interesting. Yeah, I just like to see like some extra pressure there. You know what I mean? Like something to really like put a light a fire and give him motivation for the second season would be interesting.
If they give the team back to the ex-husband, I will be so mad. I
There's
do not
no
want to
way.
see that man anymore.
You know what? I take it all back. We mentioned earlier that there's not a single character in the show that you don't like in the end of the show. No, fuck that guy.
Rupert.
Yeah.
Rupert.
Fuck Rupert, dude.
Yeah.
Can't stand. He gets
salt.
worse over the course of the show. Like we saw the episode watched the episode last night. Not even with the darts, is the I think it's after that where he finds out that the new Rebecca's pregnant, and he goes to tell Rebecca and does that douchebaggy thing to where he's like, well, I guess I just didn't want to have one with earlier.
Yeah.
And I was like, that you motherfucker, dude. Oh my god.
So I felt like that was in direct, like, kind of getting back at her for like what had happened with Ted and like her ruining the team. Like I felt like he was getting hip to it, and then he's like, all right, I'm gonna take this pot shot at you because like, anyway.
I mean, just to go out of his way was unbelievably douchey, man. Like I said that, I was like, oh, fuck this dude.
If you say that to an ex-wife or whatever, like, oh, I didn't want to have him early, like, you deserve to be shot.
Right.
Like, let's be real. Like, she gets a thigh shot, free game. Okay, gets a point, like, right in the thigh. Then you can call it even.
One shot. Give her one of those dope like Olympic air pistols where you got to hold it like this. You know.
It's all weighted in the handle to make sure.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I think that should about do it. This was a lot of fun. We like the show. Would you? I mean, I think we've already mentioned earlier, but I mean, would you recommend people watch it?
Yeah,
of course.
Oh, 100%.
There's no question.
I had to resend because I've been recommending it to everybody. I had to resend a recommendation because the people were very more like religious, and I didn't realize it cursed. Like I thought it was like totally PG, and then I was watching through. I was like, oh shit! So if cursing bugs you, yeah.
If cursing bugs you, probably don't watch the show anyway. So I mean, like. Let's
They
be real
drink
here.
a lot of beer in this show.
They do drink a lot of beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
When they have 4 glasses like in one of the later episodes. It's
Does
just
anybody else
like,
get-
Also, shout out to those like drinks on me, and then like the those
love
3 dudes
that.
that are always at the bar run up to it like, we want the boot. They pull out like these huge glasses. Like,
Yep.
fantastic. There's like just the huge like German beer steins. Like it's fabulous, man.
Again, shout out to the darts and the be curious, not judgmental scene.
Mhm.
Excellent. If anything, if you're not sold on watching this yet, go watch that scene on YouTube.
Mm.
Then you're gonna be like, wow, I have to watch the show, which is correct. And then you'll watch all the way through it, and then you'll see that scene again, and it'll be so much better because you'll have the context around it. And even though you've already seen it, you'll still be like, damn, this is a really good scene. What a great show. I'm so happy I listened to the guys on Waypoint and watched this show.
I forgot
Thank y'all
I'm
so much
left-handed.
for I forgot I'm legend. What a fucking hype moment, dude. Oh my god, that was Rock Lee taking off his training weights and them hitting the ground while fighting Gara, you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
Goku pulling off his clothes and Raditz sitting there, his power level's going up. Shit, bro. I love that so much.
All the trick plays, the lasso special.
The lasso
Yeah.
special. Go watch
love
the
it.
show, bro. No excuses. It's it's excellent in all facets from start to finish.
Mhm.
I can't say anything about season 2 yet. I haven't watched
only-
the first
it's only
episode
10
that's premiered,
episodes.
but I mean, it's
You got a
fine.
weekend.
Half
Just watch
hour
through it.
each. Knock it out. It's real easy. And I promise, once you start, you won't be able to stop. It's like
Yep.
Pringles. You get the first 2 and you're in.
Mhm.
And sit from
You
there.
got 5 hours to watch TikTok. You got 5 hours for Ted Lasso. I promise this is gonna be better.
Boom.
There you go.
Done. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Thank all of you for watching. We'll see you again at the next Waypoint. We're out.